You say that you help entrepreneurs leverage tech to grow their business. What are 3 ways that you would say new business owners, entrepreneurs, or maybe even people who have a business, but they're getting hip to the new tech and the digital age? What are 3 ways that you would say that are like some amazing ways right now to leverage a business using tech?
So it's funny because I was just having this conversation right before this interview. I finally figured out exactly how I want to help people and finally crafted my
Really? You figured it out exactly?
Yeah, like I've now figured it out.
Okay. And it's going to have a big reveal right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I literally just posted this not too long ago.
Okay, and so pumped.
It is helping Caribbean entrepreneurs build their digital assets. And it's leveraging technology. I think everybody, when they're thinking digital, only thinks social media in Trinidad. And digital is much more than just social media, right? First things first that people need to have and need to invest in, whether you're paying somebody to do it or whether you're investing time into learning how to do it, is having your website. Your website is your end all be all. That is the hub. That is where everybody needs to come back to learn about you and interact with you and get your information. The second thing is learning how social media can work for you kind of as breadcrumbs to bring back to your platforms. So having your website first, learning how to work social media, again, to bring business back. And then the third, I would say, is learn the various monetization ways of the digital age. You don't have to just monetize off of social media via sponsored posts. There's so many ways to monetize. You could do affiliate marketing. There's Google AdSense. You could sell products. You can do, when you're building yourself as a thought leader, you're blogging on your website, you're going to get speaking gigs. People are going to want you to do guest posts or ghostwrite for their companies. So learn all the different ways to monetize via the digital platforms, because a lot of that is passive income. And you already know you don't always want to have to rely on your earned income. You do not want to punch the clock. If your presence is required to make money every single time, you will never be rich unless you're getting paid an absurd amount to show up, and most of us are not. But we can learn how to create passive income where we're getting, okay, so I have an e-commerce website, I'm making some money over here. I have Google AdSense, so I'm selling ad space on my website, I'm making some money over here. I'm getting paid to do speaking gigs, I get paid over here. I'm doing workshops, and you start to round out where you have a healthy multiple streams of income.
Yeah. And even drilling down on that topic even further, what are some digital platforms that you know of, or what are some ways to monetize that you know of that you think are really great? Like, for example, I know there's Udemy, there's Teachable, there's Amazon. What are some platforms that you think are great in terms of that digital? I mean, you can have your own hosted website where you have whatever sponsored stuff, but what are some good platforms you think to sell digital stuff?
So it all depends on what you're trying to do. So like if you're a blogger, sell products on your website. You could sell ad space on your website once you're getting good traffic. Or you could do Google AdSense and Google will automatically place ads and you'll just generate a recurring check every month once you hit the threshold. You can do, did I say affiliate marketing already?
Yes.
Okay. You mentioned Teachable. Teaching is one of the greatest things you could do right now because everybody has a skill set that you can teach. If you are a videographer, rather than try to go out and get clients to pay you to shoot, teach people how to shoot. Everybody's looking for content. Entrepreneurs are looking for ways to do better social media videos. Do a Teachable course. Create a course. Sell that. That's going to be recurring income. You could either do it as signature courses where people pay a big amount for your epic long course, or you could build a resource center where you're doing a ton of short courses. You could upload a lot of information that is going to be downloadable for your platform, and you can create a resource center of a membership site.
Yeah, I feel like I'm giving people so much great information in my videos. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
I feel like everybody's just going to be so super awesome after they watch my videos. But even so, this is something I asked in my other videos before, and this is kind of getting down to the nitty gritty, and I think that's kind of what is needed now. So in terms of, I know that you have your digital product, which is your book, which is talking about content creation online. For you, because I think and I experience it myself as something that I need to work with and figure out, how am I going to get the time, but it's not just time, but it's rich time. There's a difference between unfocused time and focused time. So I think for me, when I have to deal with that, when do I get the time when I really feel like I can be deeply engaged and create something that's high quality? And I think a lot of people have to deal with that because I mean, it's just human. It's just the nature of life. There are a lot of demands on your time, whether you work, whether you're doing something on the side, or whether you're doing your own business. There are calls coming in. It's just the day-to-day life of eating, doing whatever you have to do. So what was your process in terms of, because your book has a lot of content in it, what was your process in terms of carving out that time in your schedule? Because from my observer eye, it would seem that you have a lot of demands on your time as well. But how did you carve out that time to really create something that had the quantity of information you had and the time and the rich time to create something up to the quality that you wanted as well?
So I do all of my creative work early in the morning. So I'm usually up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and I just create. Usually at that time, nobody's up, nobody's bothering you. So there's no real distraction. And ironically, the only people that are up that might message me are other people that I'm very close with as entrepreneurs. So they might be up reading a book, and they might, just seen something and shared it to me. We might have a quick chat, but at the end of the day, they don't have enough time to be having a full-on conversation in the morning as well, right?
Exactly.
So early morning is usually where I get the majority of my creative time. When it came to the ebooks that I do, because I'm a blogger first, it's easy to pull from a lot of the work I've done over time and pull to combine it, and then just change up if there's anything that needs to be added or additional chapters that need to be added, and put that out there. Ebooks are another great way to monetize. We didn't mention before in the other question. So early morning, and then once 9, 10 o'clock hits and everybody's in full swing, at that point I just schedule out my day. So if I know I have to go shoot videos, or if I have to do workshops, I just try to schedule out as much as possible. But again, my free time is always going to be early mornings, and I just do as much during that time. And because I'm doing it every single day, you just kind of stockpile content.
Yeah, that's like the 1%. If you improve with 1% every day, that cumulative effect. Very important. And I know that this is something that you've spoken about comprehensively. I'm just still touching it here because in the off chance that people who watch my videos may not have run into your content as yet. What are some of the ways that persons can get paid online in terms of the mechanisms? Because I know there's been a lot of different things happening in that space locally. I know there's WePay, and there was another one as well, which I think they discontinued, but I don't remember the name of it. Something with, I'm not sure if it's Paywise, but I know they're different things. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to just give like an overview of how those things work and how people can benefit.
So first things first is to understand your audience and how you want to get paid and what you are selling. So let's just say if you want to sell ebooks, you want to sell products on your website. Keep in mind that only 10% of the population in Trinidad has a credit card to pay you online. That's not a lot. especially when central bank within that 10% includes the people who have 4 or 5 credit cards. So it's really less than 10%, right?
Right.
So for one, you could use PayPal to get paid online. So if you're using that as a payment processor, you could use them. The trick with PayPal is that they only connect to JMMB. So PayPal is JMMB is the only bank that will allow you to receive PayPal money.
You like JMMB to sponsor this video?
Yeah. They PayPal, you can also deposit PayPal funds to a Visa enabled card, like a credit card, like a Visa credit card. The problem with Visa credit cards is that they carry the Visa fees if you want to withdraw the money. Plus they have a cap as to how much money you're allowed on the card anyway. But JMMB is an actual bank account, right? So treat it as a regular bank account, but they're the only bank that allows you to deposit those funds. The other big payment processor that is making waves is WePay. WePay allows you to install the plugin on the website. You can get paid via credit card, and it will deposit to any bank in Trinidad. You can also use their WePay vouchers. That if people do not have a credit card, they can go to any WePay terminal and give them cash, get a top-up voucher, and then they can load up their WePay account and then make the purchase on your website. So those are the 2 key payment platforms for online stuff. With Paywise did stop, but they are back.
Okay.
So what Paywise allows you to do is, Paywise is good for cash payments. So if you as a business register your business with Paywise, people who want to purchase from you can go to any Paywise dealer and give them money to your account, and then Paywise will deposit the money into your bank account. Okay. But that's only for cash.
Okay, understood. So do you have any strategies that persons can use to create quality content quickly and consistently? Besides getting up at 3 a.m. every morning. I feel like getting up at 3 a.m. every morning will eliminate like 60% of any problems you have in life. Need to exercise, get up at 3 a.m. Want to start a business, get up at 3 a.m.
And you know what, and to touch on that, like the 3 a.m. started because with all the content I create, I got a job offer last year, July, that I decided to take, right? So I was for the last 6 months, I quit now, but for the last 6 months, I was working a 9 to 5. So I had to get up at 3 o'clock to make all of my content because I wanted to make my money for my business before I left the house to make money for anybody else. So that's where the 3 o'clock in the morning started. But to create content quick and consistently, I would start to learn how to use SEO, search engine optimization tools. That way you could start to find out the data that people are searching for online. And once you learn how to get the data that people are, to figure out what questions people are asking online, then it just comes down to literally responding to questions that people are asking. You could do that through so many different ways. So if it is that you want to save some time, if I find out, okay, people are asking about, should I buy the Samsung S10? I could do maybe 3 or 2 IG posts, make them in Canva, that give some tips on the S10 and sell people on the features of that. And that'll be quick and easy. Blogs don't always have to be long. Blogs can be very short and to the point. Also, now I try not to do it as much because I think there's better means of creating content, but you could always jump on your phone, hit the record button, upload that video to any of your social media platforms just so you can get that content out there. But yeah, those are some easy ways to just go and create content.
at 3 a.m., but make sure you do it at 3 a.m. It's very important. If you get anything from all my interviews for this season, the main thing you should remember is if you're not waking up at 3 a.m., you should wake up at 3 a.m.
Yeah. It's, well, you know, as you say, the legends are either waking up at 5 a.m. or they're going to bed at 5 a.m. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
So you're either pulling the overnighters and getting your work done, or you're waking up hella early to get your work done. It's one or the other.
Wake up at 3 a.m. So in your book, Create, where you're guiding people on content creation, I remember one of the things that you spoke about is the business brand versus the personal brand.
Yeah.
And some of the pros of building a personal brand. So this is just a question.
Yeah.
Do you just think everybody should have a personal brand now? Do you think is that advice that you would give to anybody starting there who has a business?
Everybody has a personal brand, right? Whether you're intentional about your personal brand is a different thing. If you're somebody who personally is known for being lazy or you don't do good work, like that is your brand that follows you, right? That's what you're known for. But your personal brand and focusing on it is going to give you intention to go out and build it. I think that personal brands should be your parent company to your business brands. So you want to do that so that you don't pigeonhole yourself into just being known for one thing. If I built Droid Island in a way where I never put myself out there, I never put my face out there, I never built my personal brand alongside Droid Island, then if I got bored of Droid Island, then what would happen? Nobody would know who I was. Yeah. And I'd be starting from scratch. Yeah. When you build a personal brand, so when, Keron Rose is doing this, he's doing Droid Island, and then I come out and say, well, you know what? Droid Island was, for a time period, and I'm no longer there. But you know what? I have a love for dogs. I have a love for dog training, right?
That has opened the school to start training dogs, and now I can pick up where I left off.
And this is why I'm doing it. I already have a notoriety to work with because I'm already known, and people already have trusted me over a length of time, so that if I say, yo, I'm doing this now, okay, well, we're going to follow him. Even if they don't buy from me, a lot of people will still look and be like, oh, I like how he's building the brand of the dog trainer. Right. So I could still follow him, right? And the best example that I like to use for personal brand as your parent company is Richard Branson. We know Richard Branson. We don't know all of the businesses that he's invested in. He has hundreds of businesses that he's invested in. But bet your bottom dollar, if a business pops up on the scene, and you hear that Richard Branson has stamped his approval, it's a part of his organization, or he's involved in it, it's already going to have a level of notoriety because of his personal brand.
Yeah, for real. So this question now is totally not related to business at all. Okay, no, actually I will ask all the business things first, and then I'll get to the light stuff after.
No problem.
So if you had to itemize what services well, I know you have Droid Island, and then you have Keron Rose, which is more your entrepreneurial tech, helping business owners kind of merge those two things. Yeah. And who knows what else? Maybe future dog trainer. We don't know. We don't know. But in terms of right now, I don't know if you want to speak to both of those arms, but in terms of right now, what services do you offer that people can reach out to you for? What problems are you solving for people right now? And how can they get in contact with you?
So with Droid Island is the source for Caribbean mobile technology. So if you want to keep up to date on smartphones, you want to learn how to use them, you want to learn how to get the most use out of them, you follow Droid Island. It's also an e-commerce platform. So I sell a lot of products that majority of the retail stores locally do not sell. So the majority of the stores focus on selling Samsung and Apple. I'm the only brand that does not sell anything Apple or anything Samsung because I want to sell everything else. But that's a micro niche that I created as well, right? So when you're thinking of OnePlus, Xiaomi, Vivo, Oppo, anything else, people think of me because I talk about it, I teach about it, plus I also sell it. Droid Island also works with any of the big brands like a Digicel, B-Mobile, Huawei, Samsung, and I do content that teaches people in that space a variety of topics. So one of the things that I'll actually make the announcement here. Me and Digicel are going to be doing some workshops in February 8th and February 29th in the C3 store. So I'm going to be doing workshops teaching people how to purchase a smartphone in 2020. And then I'm going to be bringing one of my photographer friends.
OMG, can you imagine you're teaching persons how to purchase a smartphone? This is amazing.
Yeah.
Imagine if you live in a time where this is a whole thing. Like
this is a thing,
This is a skill. You have to understand what you are doing when you go to the phone store. Like you can't just get up today and say you're going to the phone store.
No. And because, the institutions, a lot of the people that are working in them don't have a lot of the in-depth knowledge. That's the micro niche I've created, that I can now work with these brands and do workshops on my own turf, right? So that's Droid Island, and then with Keron Rose. Keron Rose is about my journey being an entrepreneur and teaching and motivating other entrepreneurs. But then I also teach entrepreneurs about building their digital assets, like their website, their Google business, their WhatsApp business, their email marketing, monetization of the different digital platforms. And I have my Eastern Credit Union partnership that we just started, where again, I have 6 months worth of workshops that I'm putting on with Eastern Credit Union, teaching entrepreneurs about a variety of different topics. From the technical side, we have a workshop where we're bringing in Nigel Romano, who's the former JMB CEO. He's going to be teaching people finance, but I'm able to not only create the workshops, but I'm able to curate the type of workshops we do with that platform as well. So everything with the Keron Rose brand is going to be about empowering entrepreneurs and teaching them how to build in the digital age, monetize, and thrive.
That's exciting. Yeah. So if they want to find out what's happening with all of those and stay up to date, they will look for Keron Rose everywhere.
Yeah, Keron Rose everywhere. Google it, the website, all social media, everything is Keron Rose everywhere.
Okay, so this is the question that I was going to ask, which is not really business related, but just kind of like just for fun.
Yeah.
Like what are some of your favorite foods to eat here?
Here or in general?
No, like Trinidad.
All right, so first and foremost, roti and curry goat. That is first and foremost. First and foremost. I have to stay away from it because I'm putting on weight and I can't eat too much. But anytime I'm on vacation in Trinidad, my grandmother, first night down, roti and curry goat was there.
That you're reminding me of my friend Robert, but yeah, I'm listening. He's like sometimes I was having a conversation with him and he was like, every Tuesday and Thursday, I need my curry. Every Tuesday and Tuesday.
Yeah, that is by far my favorite Trini dish.
Okay, so anything else? Because that's pretty much everything I wanted to touch on. I feel like we got some really good content. But if there's anything that you want to share in terms of anything motivational, anything inspirational, and if you're going to tell them to watch my channel because it's awesome.
You have to watch Sean Arthur's channel, yes. Honestly, I think we're in a beautiful time.
Oh, I do have another question
before
we go to the end. This is so much fun. I have a question. My question was, because you moved here and what you were doing professionally was a little bit different before you came here, but now you're kind of spearheading your own stuff because you started your own business and all of that. What was the transition like for you in terms of being someone who's always like out in the front now, having to be in the spotlight, like doing things like this, or even if you're in a workshop, like in front of the class, or like appearing on different media? Because I think that's also a cultural difference in the sense that, like, I think now it's changing locally where persons are less afraid to stand up and like be out in front if they have to. I think people are getting more comfortable, but to me, I see that as a big cultural difference. Now, as I said, now it's shifting, but even before, like when I went to the States, like they're very, like they don't have an issue with being present. Like they're like, I'm here. Where am I? I'm here. I'm up front. This is me. See me. But here I feel like we were a little bit more like shrinking violets. But I wonder for you if there was any kind of transition in terms of just your comfort level, just kind of being out in front all the time as trying to push your brand and stuff.
Yeah, I think with the States and in Canada, the competition level is insane. So you have to use every stop in the book. And then our culture over there is to never settle. You're always on the go. You're always doing. In the Caribbean, you know, when we vacation in Canada, the States, we come to the Caribbean to relax and just mellow out. Here, it's all about getting to a point and relaxing. So people don't ever need to get out and keep on pushing themselves to get out. They just want to get a good job and just relax. It's changing now because the culture and not the culture, but the climate is changing. Now, you know, what happened 10 years ago with like our recessions and stuff, where you and cost of living getting higher, where you have to create multiple streams of income to survive, people are still living off of one income here. But now that retrenchment is happening, technology is hitting these companies where, you know, the cost of living has grown a little bit. You now might be thinking, okay, you know, what used to carry me before, I need to create some other streams. And doing that, you have to push yourself to go out there. So that's why that is kind of happening now, where people are stepping out of the comfort zone. For me, being in front of the camera, or doing anything where I'm in front of a group of people, I'm a big introvert. I'd say I'm an ambivert. I like to be out in front or vocal in spaces that I'm interested in. If I have no interest in where I'm at for some odd reason, then I'm not really going to say much. I either won't be there, or if I'm there, you know, I won't have much to say. But once it's a space that I enjoy, that I'm passionate about, then it makes it so much easier to go out and talk. I can get out and talk about smartphones and the technology behind it all day, every day. Yeah. I can talk entrepreneurship, online business. I could talk that all day, every day. Yeah. Put me in a room to talk about stocks and bonds, and I'm like, it might, you know, I'm not there yet, so I might not have the same interest or enthusiasm. Right. So really, it's just being in spaces that you enjoy, and that helps me tremendously. Yeah.
Gotcha. So now you can do whatever is the exciting thing you're going to tell people.
So I think that we are currently in the greatest time ever, and being in the Caribbean now is exciting because it's blue ocean. There are so many things that you could be doing right now that you are passionate about, and the only person getting in your way is yourself. If you are willing to just be open-minded, learn what these new opportunities can bring, instead of just thinking about what we've lost. A lot of people are upset that we are losing things in the oil and gas industry or any other industries that was thriving before. But with everything that's closed down, there's so many more new opportunities coming. And the barrier for entry of those things are so much lower than ever before. There's almost no barrier for entry. When I started Droid Island, I started my website and blog for less than 500 TT. And it's paid back within the first 2 weeks of me starting it. But the opportunities are there. You just need to be creative. You just need to be open-minded and understand that it's blue ocean in Trinidad. The people who are going to be creative and are going to be persistent are going to be the ones at the end of the day who are going to be able to monetize and have endless streams of income. Because even though we might be competing like hell in the States and Canada, we're not doing that here. So people who, again, are just creative will be able to monetize a whole lot easier than people in other countries.
Why do you say it would be better to monetize here than the other countries?
Yeah.
No, why were you saying?
Why? Because we have, it's blue ocean.
Right.
There's just not the competition levels. Right. Like simple thing like having your website, SEO, ranking and competing with some of the biggest names in the business. Like when people are searching for things, only the bigger companies show up and people with the largest followings. Because we don't have many people that have an online presence here, when you start to create your online presence, you're going to show up a lot easier than somewhere else in another part of the world.
And what you're saying is I wanted to piggyback on it, because I think a lot of what I speak to and a lot of how my mind is trained is it's about mindset, you know what I mean? And you can look at, I mean, and this might sound repetitive, and a lot of people who I speak to might say the same thing, but like David Goggins says, there's a reason why you take a shower every day, right? You need to motivate and remotivate, and sometimes you need to hear the same thing over and over again. Sometimes that's the whole point. Like, you need to keep exposing yourself to it so you keep getting those results that you want. So I think I just want to underscore what you're saying about, you know, the oil and gas and that may be decreasing. But, you know, I think it's so critical as an individual and a society at large, in terms of being in control of your mind and your frame of reference and how you see things. Because you can, the two people can see the same situation. One can get depressed, and one can just see just dreams unfolding that is just ripe to start creating that. So I think, you know, it's just always about what meaning, to use Arnold's word, what meaning am I giving to this situation? What lens am I looking at this through? You know what I mean? Like, lost my job. I'm not saying that's not hard. I'm not saying that everything is a bed of roses. Like, sometimes things could really hit you. But when you deal with the situation and assess it, where are you going to go from there? Are you just going to say, oh, this is the end of the road? Or are you going to find ways to turn this around?
People have never had to do the things they need to do now to grow and to build. You know, again, because we've had the recessions that hit years ago abroad, we, from a long time ago, realized, okay, the cost of living is going up, the job market is hyper competitive. Having a master's no longer means what it meant years ago. So what are we going to do to survive? That is now hitting the islands. So people are now having to think about what else can they do, and they've never had to do that before, which is good. I'm glad that people could have lived off of one income for a long time, but you know, things are changing now, and it's just having to get people to wake up and get hip to what is happening in the world.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. So I have to say thank you for coming. I think that was a really great session. It was fun. I think everybody enjoyed it. I'm very excited. And so we'll see you on your platforms throughout the year, and we'll see all your events, and we'll be following you and stuff. So thanks again. I think now is a great time for me to let people know, because I don't think I have as yet. If you are you seeing these videos and all these amazing content that we're sharing with you? So if you have not become a patron of my Patreon account as yet, I feel like now is the time. Or if you haven't made a donation yet, I feel like you should definitely make a donation. So all those links will be somewhere around, like on the video or below the video or something, but you definitely need to get onto my Patreon to support this awesome work and this team that you can't see, but they're all around that made this happen. And because we need to start, I think we really need to start valuing what we are creating here locally, because it's on a standard that's comparable to the rest of the world, and start pushing these new creative ventures. And the way to do that is to fund it. So get on my Patreon, make a donation, and you get bonus footage, a lot of special access, and you help me pick my interviews, and we do lots of cool stuff on live chat. So basically get on there and support so we could build the Ashana channel, and you help me build the Ashana channel, and I help you build whatever dreams you have for your life. So we do it all together. So I'm excited, and more videos to come. So that's a wrap for Keron Rose.